Example 3, identify independent events. A jar contains 12 green marbles and 8 violet marbles. So our problem A, a marble is chosen at random from the jar and replaced. Another marble is chosen at random from the jar. Does the color of the first marble chosen affect the possible outcomes for the second marble chosen? Okay, so my total sample space here, let's see, my total is 12 plus 8 is 20. So we have a total of 20 marbles. So if I'm going to go in my first choice, I'm drawing the first time, so first choice. So if I reach into that jar, the probability of me picking a green one, there's a total of 12 green marbles out of 20. And that's 3 out of 5. The probability of me reaching in and picking a violet marble, there's 8 violet marbles out of 20 total. So that's 2/5. Okay, so that was my first choice. So now take a look at this word replaced. So I have pulled that marble out, whether it was green or violet, and I put it back in the jar. So all of the marbles are now back in the jar. So when I go do a second choice, the probability of me picking a green one, well, it hasn't changed. All of the marbles are still there. And the probability of me picking a violet one, again, that hasn't changed because whatever marble I took out, I put it back. So notice how my probabilities hasn't changed. So there is no, it didn't affect that second marble at all. So 2 events are independent events if and only if the occurrence of one event does not affect the probability of a second event, which is what we just saw here. This is independent. Now let's take a look at this one. A marble is chosen at random from the jar and not replaced. So in other words, I pulled it out and I didn't put it back. Another marble is chosen at random from the jar. Does the color of the first marble chosen affect the possible outcomes for the second marble chosen? So let's say if I choose green first, so I reach in, I pull out a green marble. If green, okay, so I'm on my second draw. So if the green has been pulled out, when I go in the second time, while I originally had 12 green marbles, because I pulled one out, I'm down to 11 green marbles. Not only that, but my total has also decreased by 1. I no longer have 20 marbles in the jar. I only have 19. If I go and I pick a purple one, probability of picking, or excuse me, a violet one, excuse me, violet, not purple. Okay, so I didn't pull a violet one out. So there are still, what was it, 8 violet marbles. However, that green one has still been pulled out, so my total is still down to 19. I no longer have 20. There's only 19 in the jar. And likewise, if I pull a violet one first, well, my probability of picking a green one, well, I still have all the green marbles in because I only pulled a violet one out. So that means I have 12. But I still have a total of 19 marbles in that jar because, again, I pulled that violet one out. 20 minus 1 is 19. Probability of picking another violet one out. Well, I started with 8, and I already pulled a violet one out, so that means I have 7, and I still only have 19 in the jar. So take a look at how these probabilities are different. So when we do not have replacement, we do not have an independent event. So this one is not independent. So probability of independent events. If A and B are independent events, then the probability of A and B occurring equals the probability of A times the probability of B. Let's take a look at your triad. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more. There are 10 cards in a box, 5 red. 2 cards are selected from the box, one at a time. So A card is chosen at random and then replaced. Another card is chosen. Does the color of the first card chosen affect the possibility of the second card chosen? Explain. So here we go. Here's that word. Notice that word replaced. So if I've got these cards in a box, I take one out, but then I put it back. My second draw, the probability isn't going to change. I still have the same number of cards in the box. So we're going to say, we'll say no. If the card is replaced, the same cards are in the box as before. A card is chosen at random and not replaced. Another card is chosen. Does the color of the first card chosen affect the possibilities of the second card chosen? Explain. And so again, look at here, not replaced. So I pulled that card out and I didn't put it back. Well, if I didn't put it back, well, I've got less cards in the box as what I had in the beginning. So we'll say yes. The card was not replaced. So there are fewer cards in the box than before.